The first time I tried bourbon was probably in 1986. I was about 9 years old, and I was helping my grandfather distill a batch.
First time. Wow.
Legally or illegally, it's fine.
I grew up in Kentucky, born and raised. So the first time I tried bourbon, I was 13 years old.
First time tried bourbon, 21. This is Knob Creek small batch right here.
Well, I'm from a good Kentucky family, so I was young. You know, I got a little fussy as a child, so that little rub on the gums and takes the edge off. So that's a huge teething remedy in our area.
I'm sure I was teething. Yeah, you put it on your gums.
I know people.
Thanks, Mom.
Legally?
I mean, back when I was, in college.
Gosh, the first time I tried bourbon, oh boy, well, it was illegal. I think I was like 13, and I think it was just like a classic Makers. Can't go wrong,
So
Who was it with?
it was with some buddies. We took it from my dad's cabinet.
I used to mix my dad's drinks when they were in the hot tub, so I'd have to taste it to make sure the mix was right. So I got my bartending training nice and early as a kid.
Back in the college days, it was always like Captain and Coke, and then we started getting a little bit more sophisticated because we could afford the better stuff.
We learned better, I guess.
Yeah.
Went from beer to bourbon.
But what Kentucky girl doesn't love bourbon, right?
Absolutely.
One of the first bourbons I really got into, I think it was Booker's that broke me. Booker's, they got me into that high proof stuff, and I never really settled down. So now I've got over 1,000 bottles at home. I'm a collector. I had a little podcast that I did for a while. And yeah, I'm also founder of Broken Barrel.
The first time I tried bourbon or whiskey, legal or pre?
Whatever you want to do.
Legally. Let's see here.
Probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And actually, we were in Scotland, and my son was working in Scotland, going to school in Scotland, getting a degree in distillation science. So we tried a lot of scotch. We said, well, we like scotch. We live in Kentucky. Let's try bourbon. So, and we said, oh, bourbon's even better than scotch.
Well, probably I was, obviously 21, and I've been drinking bourbon though for probably about 10 or 12 years. It really started off. I also enjoy scotch and drank wine as well.
Long time ago. Been in the liquor business for about almost 30 years, and always been a big whiskey and bourbon fan. That's always been my number one drink. So, been drinking it for a very, very long time.
Both my parents are bourbon lovers. My mom actually used to work for Woodford doing tours and stuff like that. Yeah, so kind of, I get it honest on both sides. But one thing they both taught me early on was to not, don't mix it. Don't mix it, which, has carried through ever since.